Hey guys, it's October and it's Tuesday, which means two things. Number one, it's my birthday month. Hey, it's my birthday month. Hey, but it also means it's time for a Tune Up Tuesday. So each month in October to celebrate my birthday, I like to do what I call Tune Up Tuesdays, and that's just a time where we take a moment and we do a checkup on our relationship with God, ourselves, and then others. And so tonight, I'm going to title this one, I Have Questions. I got some questions. Do you got questions? Because I sure do. I got some questions. But before we dive into that, I want to tell you guys, make sure you uh, click the link below to go and register to celebrate my birthday. I'm going to give away three free sessions. All you got to do to register to win is go to my website. When you click it, it'll show all the different like things that we offer. But then you can also there'll be a pop up, and so when that pop up pops up, make sure you just sign and register. We're gonna draw some names at the end of the month, and we will contact you and let you know that you won if you win. But I'm telling you, there are a plethora of things that you will get out of one of these sessions. If you are struggling, need some help with your spiritual walk, what I call spiritual development, you can get that. If you have some things that you need relationship wise, whether it's with your family, with yourself, your co-workers, you can get some assistance. We can discuss that. Whether you writing a book, whatever you need. My goal is to help you turn your next into now. And so anything that you need help in that area. So click on the link and go register to win. I am telling you, you want to win one of these sessions. All right, so let's dive in. I got some questions. So I remember a couple years back, I woke up one morning and I looked around and I was just like, you know what? There has to be more than this. There's more than ministry than this. There's more to life than this. There is more. Like I just said, there's more. And so I began to ask myself a series of questions just by way of checkup to see what was going on. And so tonight I'm going to share some of those questions with you and we'll talk about them briefly. And so, yeah. So the first question that I asked myself, I looked around, I looked at my life, I looked at my finances, I looked at my relationship, I looked at ministry, I looked at my job, I looked at everything, which at that time, particular time, I probably was teaching. I don't know much else, but to teach. No, that's not true. That's not true. I take that back because I am the Magic Johnson. I am. I can play all points. I'm multitasking because I told the Lord, any gift you give me, I promise you I'm gonna use it. And so, yeah. So I take that back. But anyway, here's that question. Here's the question I asked myself: can you afford what you have an appetite for? Is your appetite causing you to spend time, energy, and money creating a deficit and being counterproductive because you desire to be or live on a level that your behavior, attitude, mindset, actions, prayer life, and level of consecration have not prepared you for? Now, that's a whole mouthful. So many times I believe we have appetites for things we can't afford or things that our character, our behavior, our integrity, we have appetites for it because we allow the wrong things to shape and develop our appetite. So the side question to that is, what's shaping your appetite? Where is your appetite coming from? Let me give you an example of having an appetite. I don't want this to be all spiritual, but we're gonna go just church because it's what I know. And so one of the things that I enjoy helping churches do is to become healthy. I believe in this. For me, it's not about numbers, about health, and because I believe anything healthy grows. So I went in and I was helping this church grow. We went in. The Lord gave me this blueprint. So I went in and we we worked through the blueprint. Went in on a I can't remember if it's a weekly or bi-weekly basis, but went in on a regular basis. We turned things around, worked with the staff, worked with the team. Before long, the church, became healthy, and because it was healthy, it started growing. They moved buildings. Then once they moved buildings and ended up acquiring a whole block, the church was growing, growing leaps and bounds in every area. Okay, and so this particular, church ministry had an appetite, you know, for numbers. Really is what it turned out to be, numbers. And it turned out to be money was their appetite. So what happened is they grew to this particular level, and then all of a sudden, I took away like, man, I didn't really cover integrity in depth or character in depth, because they were hiring people that couldn't pay them. They took money, raised money for a roof that never took a loan or whatever for a roof that never got completed. So all these things started happening. And so the next thing you know, what was growing, what was healthy became very unhealthy, because it was being fed the wrong things. And the appetite, the character, the integrity, evidently the prayer life, the word life, none of that, it didn't match. And so because it didn't match, there were people that were hurt, and all types of things happened, and so here's the thing, what you eat, your appetite, and having an appetite for what you can afford, it not only affects you, it affects those around you. If you don't have the necessary tools to maintain and sustain what it is you have an appetite for, here's the thing, all that's going to happen is you're going to lose it. And so you got to ask yourself again, can I afford what I have an appetite for, and where did this appetite come from? And so the next question, do you have the right perspective? How are you looking at things? Are you looking at things the right way? Have you let the lens of your past distort the view of your future and hinder what you will see in your future? Have you walked away from the gift of heaven while welcoming and celebrating the distraction that hell sent you? Like, what are you doing? How are you looking at things? I remember one time I was at work, and I was working in a school. I've always found myself in schools, and in churches. No matter where I go, I always end up working alongside, because I know that I'm called to leaders. And so always, so we're at, and I'm in this place, and I brought that up to say this. I'm in this place where I'm working close with the principal. Everybody looks up to me. Got great relationships with people. I'm doing presentations at staff meetings on, classroom management, those type of things. Like, my test scores are off the chain, like, when I say off the chain, I mean off the chart, like really well. And I taught math. So, so I got good test scores, everything. And so I'm that teacher. I'm on the champs committee and all these committees, and, all of this stuff. And so we were in a meeting one time, and I reacted in a way that, for a moment, something was said, and I looked through the wrong lens. And in that moment, I looked through the lens of what was going on, what had been going on at church. Because for that same reason, I was along, working really close with the pastor, was in a position that, like, I never imagined myself to be in. And with that came a lot of opposition, because other people felt like they should have been in that position, and, all this stuff. So I was dealing with all this stuff. And so I always, in those particular meetings, I had to come with my guard, with my shield, with my sword, and, like, be ready to fight, and be ready to, defend, be ready to defend myself. And so we're at work, and I start seeing things through the lens of church. And somebody said something, and when I said it, the moment what I said came out of my mouth, I realized, like, I just crushed everybody in this room, because they had never seen that side of me. They had never seen me, like, clap back, be defensive, none of that, because I've always, remained very professional, and I really, really tried to just be the love of Christ in that school. And in that moment, I wasn't showing the love of Christ. And so when you look through things through the wrong lens, it distorts the view of your present. And I say that because that person who said that looked up to me, admired me, cared about me, and was in no way trying to hurt me or come after me or come at me. But because I was looking through the wrong lens in that moment, my view of the present was distorted. Okay. And it didn't, thank God, it didn't hinder what I saw in the future, but it very well could have. And so, are you looking through things through the right lens? These next two I'm not really gonna really talk about, but I just want to say them, and then I got one more that I want to talk about tonight. Why are you letting the wrong people touch your open wounds? When open wounds come in contact with the wrong voices or opinions, an infection is created. And so the second question is, who has been infecting you instead of pushing you towards healing? Who's been infecting you? When you got a wound open, who you going to? Who talking to? Who's touching it? Who putting a nasty little voice and opinions on what's going on? Who's doing that? And then stop it. The next one is, are the people around you provoking you to change? And if the people around you aren't provoking you to change, then it's time to change the people you are around. The next one is your disobedience costing you more than a simple yes? Is your no costing you more? Is your disobedience costing you more than a simple yes, than being obedient? Ask yourself, is that the case with me? This last one that I want to talk about is not really something, this is something that the Lord has just been really dealing with me about recently. And this is, are you growing? Are you simply growing? Or are you maturing? Are you just growing, or are you maturing? I was reading the story of the fig leaf. Not the fig leaf, the fig tree. And one of the things that the Lord just really brought out to me about that was that the issue that fig tree had is that it was just growing, but it wasn't maturing. And although, growth is healthy, maturity is what Christ has called us to. In 2 Corinthians, he was like, hey, by now, why are you still on milk? You need to be on meat. You should be able to handle meat because you're growing. Milk is for growth. Meat is for maturity. Growth takes place on, outwardly a lot of times, but maturity takes place on the inside. Maturity is related to your diet. And so here's the thing. Until you change your diet, we're going back to, and we're ending what we started, appetite. You got to change your diet if you're going to mature. There are a lot of things that you can do that will not send you to hell. Okay? A lot of things. There are a lot of things you can see, listen to, say, whatever, that won't send you to hell. But it will stop you from maturing. If you are not taking the necessary steps, if you are not your relationship, taking the steps to mature spiritually, to grow in your walk with Christ, you will grow, but you won't mature. And that was the issue with the fig tree. Like, first of all, the fruit comes before the leaves. So when Jesus saw the leaves, he automatically is like, okay, he expected fruit, because surely there's fruit because there are leaves. But fruit is maturity. And in fact, one of the things that the Lord really said to me about, as I was just studying and preparing and reading scriptures and all of that stuff that I do before I start each year, probably in August, getting ready for October, to I fast and just get direction for my next year of life. But one of the things he said to me is and he had said this before, and I saw it happen, but it was different this time. He said, this next year, For you, it'll be a year of fruition. And he said, he took me back to how um, years back he had told me, one year he said this is going to be a year of manifestation. And it was. I mean, and manifestation means that something appears. And see, for me, because I hadn't really studied it out that time, I thought manifestation meant that I had it, but that wasn't it. Manifestation means that it appeared. And when I tell you like things that I had wanted manifested. Then the next year he said, this is your fulfillment. And so fulfillment actually means that you get it in your hand. Now you can touch it, you know. But it don't mean that you necessarily have it because, or that you own it. I put it like that because I have this phone right here. I have this phone in my hand. However, I'm making payments on this phone. So technically, I don't own this phone yet, although I have it. And so fulfillment in that year, oh my God, so many things that it was this particular person that I wanted to dance with. And I was just like, I just always wanted to dance with this person. And that particular year, like everything, and I said, there's just little stuff. And we ended up dancing. And I mean, just little stuff. I remember I would have gave an arm and a leg to spend my birthday with this particular person. It was actually the same person. And so that particular year, literally spent my whole entire birthday with that person. But the thing, so all this stuff was just, it happened. I mean, little stuff that you be like, what? It happened. Things were fulfilled, but I didn't own it. I didn't have the fruit of it. And that's where fruition comes in. And how does this all tie in? It ties in like this. A lot of times you don't get to a level of fruition because you're not mature. And back to the question that I asked before. When you're not mature, your character, your integrity, your attitude, your prayer life, you don't have the fruit is not there. And so because it doesn't match, you can't actually have it because you're not mature enough to handle it. So the last question is, are you growing? Just growing? Or are you maturing? All right, that's it for tonight. I said I was going to keep these at about 20 minutes. We're at 17:30. My name is Renetta, a.k.a. The Equipper. This is Tune Up Tuesday. I want to invite you guys to meet me back here next Tuesday for Tune Up Tuesday and every Tuesday in October. Also, hey guys, if you love to pray, meet me on the line. Look at the flyer. Meet me on the line every Tuesday in October at 5 a.m. We had an amazing time this morning in prayer. Set your alarms. I know some of you are not morning people, so set your alarm, but get up and join us. We had an amazing time in prayer this morning. Join us at 5 a.m. every Tuesday, and here on Facebook and Instagram every Tuesday at 9 p.m. All right. Be sure to go to the website and register. I can't wait to connect with you guys. All right. Have a good evening.